this place, then why should... I don't like it, he said. Again he looked around the room, recalled the fantastic equipment of the house. But maybe you're right. He stared out at the city lights. They had a lace-like quality, tall buildings linked by lines of flickering incandescence. Something like a Roman candle shot skyward in the distance. Okay, he said. If they want to trade, let's go push the deal. Abruptly, the house shuddered. The city lights blinked out. A humming sound filled the air. Martha Graham clutched her husband's arm. Ted, what was that? I don't know. He turned. Mr. Rush? No answer. Only the humming. The door at the end of the room opened. A strange man came through it. He wore a short toga-like garment of gray metallic cloth belted at the waist by something that glittered and shimmered through every color of the spectrum. An aura of coldness and power emanated from him, a sense of untouchable hauteur. He glanced around the room, spoke in the same tongue the Rushes had used. Ted Graham said, I don't understand you, mister. The man put a hand to his flickering belt. Both Ted and Martha Graham felt themselves rooted to the floor, a tingling sensation vibrating along every nerve. Again the strange language rolled from the man's tongue, but now the words were understood. Who are you? My name's Graham. This is my wife. What's going... How did you get here? The Rushes. They wanted to trade us this house for our trailer. They brought us. Now look, we... What is your talent? Your occupation? Tax accountant. Say, why all these... That was to be expected, said the man. Clever. Oh, excessively clever. His hand moved again to the belt. Now be very quiet. This may confuse you momentarily. Colored lights filled both the Grahams' minds. They staggered. You are qualified, said the man. You will serve. Where are we? Demanded Martha Graham. The coordinates would not be intelligible to you, he said. I am of the Rojak. It is sufficient for you to know that you are under Rojak sovereignty. Ted Graham said, But you have in a way been kidnapped, and the Raimis have fled to your planet, an unregistered planet. I'm afraid, Martha Graham said shakily. You have nothing to fear, said the man. You are no longer on the planet of your birth, nor even in the same galaxy. He glanced at Ted Graham's wrist. That device on your wrist, it tells your local time? Yes. That will help in the search. And your sun, can you describe its atomic cycle? Ted Graham groped in his mind for his science memories from school, from the Sunday supplements. I can recall that our galaxy is a spiral, like... Most galaxies are spiral. Is this some kind of practical joke? Asked Ted Graham. The man smiled, a cold, superior smile. It is no joke. Now I will make you a proposition. Ted nodded warily. All right, let's have the stinger. The people who brought you here were tax collectors we Rojak recruited from a subject planet. They were conditioned to make it impossible for them to leave their job untended. Unfortunately, they were clever enough to realize that if they brought someone else in who could do their job, they were released from their mental bonds. Very clever. But... You may have their job, said the man. Normally you would be put to work in the lower echelons, but we believe in meting out justice wherever possible. The Raimis undoubtedly stumbled on your planet by accident and lured you into this position without... How do you know I can do your job? That moment of brilliance was an aptitude test. You passed. Well, do you accept? What about our baby? Martha Graham worriedly wanted to know. You will be allowed to keep it until it reaches the age of decision, about the time it will take the child to reach adult stature. Then what? Insisted Martha Graham. The child will take its position in society according to its ability. Will we ever see our child after that? Possibly. Ted Graham said, What's the joker in this? Again the cold, superior smile. You will receive conditioning similar to that which we gave the Raimis, and we will want to examine your memories to aid us in our search for your planet. It would be good to find a new inhabitable place. Why did they trap us like this? Asked Martha Graham. "It's lonely work," the man explained. "Your house is actually a type of space conveyance that travels along your collection route, and there is much travel to the job. And then you will not have friends nor time for much other than work. Our methods are necessarily severe at times." "Travel?" Martha Graham repeated in dismay. "Almost constantly." Ted Graham felt his mind whirling, and behind him he heard his wife sobbing. The Raimeys sat in what had been the Grahams' trailer. "For a few moments I feared he would not succumb to the bait," she said. "I knew you could never overcome the mental compulsion enough to leave them there without their first agreeing." Raimey chuckled. "Yes, and now I'm going to indulge in everything the Rojac never permitted. I'm going to write ballads and poems." "And I'm going to paint," she said. "Oh, the delicious freedom!" "Greed won this for us," he said. "The long study of the Grahams paid off. They couldn't refuse to trade." "I knew they'd agree. The looks in their eyes when they saw the house. They both had—" She broke off, a look of horror coming into her eyes. "One of them did not agree." "They both did. You heard them." "The baby?" He stared at his wife. But it's not at the age of decision." "In perhaps 18 of this planet's years it will be at the age of decision. What then?" His shoulders sagged. He shuddered. "I will not be able to fight it off. I will have to build a transmitter, call the Rojac, and confess." "And they will collect another inhabitable place," she said, her voice flat and toneless. "I've spoiled it," he said. "I've spoiled it." End of Old Rambling House by Frank Herbert.